collaborative. As always, I'll be talking to an author whose book I have recently read and enjoyed. And my guest for this week is somebody who's coming on the show for the first time. And we are also going to be taking up her debut book as a part of this discussion. She's someone whose writing I became an admirer of through the poetry that she put up on her blog. And this is her debut book. We are going to discuss that book, how she came about writing the book, what her journey has been, like from being a blogger to now an author. It's going to be a very interesting conversation. Do stay tuned. Okay, it's not audible, is it? Is it audible now, Sonia? Yeah, okay. I have just it. Super. Hi, Sonia. Welcome. Welcome to the
Hi,
show. Very
hi
happy and excited
Manali.
to have you here.
I'm so glad. Thank you so much for having me on your show. And I think it's been a while. Uh, we've been trying to tie this up, but thank you
Yeah,
so much. Thank you so much
and
for pursuing
actually,
me
I was
because
very happy that you finally got the book out. So I got a chance to invite you because I have been an admirer of your poetry that you put up on your blog for a very long time. So I was very happy that you had a book out and I got a chance to interact with you as an author on the show now. So welcome to the show.
thank you so much. Thank you so much. I mean, all your effort because I was very skeptical. This is my first Instagram live. So,
You'll be fine. We'll have a lot of fun. Not to worry. So before we start this episode, take the episode further, Sonia. Can you briefly introduce yourself to the audience, please?
okay. So, I'm Sonia. I'm an ex-educator. I've been a teacher for 10 years. I mean, I taught for a decade. And after which, due to some, my personal issues, I had to quit teaching. And that was the time I got around to a children's newspaper. And I started working with them. I learned a lot of things through them. And I mean, through them, I went into the job of editing, copy editing, proofreading, and yeah, and that's how it happened. In 2016, I shifted gears. So it's been 10 years. And as far as writing is concerned, I've been writing for a very long time. And I think ever since school, college, I don't know. And but more seriously, I think I took it up after 2020, around 2020. I was blogging from 2018 to 20, and then, of course, yeah, right now I also create content for textbooks, school
Oh,
textbooks.
lovely, lovely. So it's been a long journey, and you have been how long have you been writing poetry for? I mean, as a hobby writing.
I think I just started with poetry when I
Okay.
was in school. I started with poetry and all through college, and in fact, uh, it's like you said in your introduction. Everyone's very surprised that I came out with a children's book because everyone who's known me through all these years, even my school, college, university friends, or my teachers, colleagues, everyone knows me for writing poetry. So
Yeah, actually, that came as a surprise for me that you brought out a children's literature book as well. I was expecting a poetry book as your debut. But we'll come to that later. I'm sure you have something planned along those lines also. Now, let's come to this book that I have read. I'm sure you also have the paperback. Can you show it to
yeah,
the audience, please?
yes.
Very lovely cover, very cheerful cover here. And
Thank
I
you.
think the cover sums up entirely everything that is inside the book also.
Yes, absolutely. From the setting, I think I have to give it to Sahana Ahmed, my publisher from Barebones, because it was not easy to get around to a final cover. You have difference of opinion, and there are so many thoughts. And she had visualized a cover ever since the story, went to her, but somehow things didn't work out, and it entirely hurt this thing vision. I had a rough sketch like this made by my daughter a long time back.
Oh, wow.
So,
Okay.
when things were not working out and all, I just told her, I said, I have this sketch, would you like to see? And she converted the whole sketch into this beautiful digital.
Lovely. And now coming to the content of the book, I was very, I had a smile throughout while I was reading the book because there's such a charming sweetness to the character of Kuhu and the family around her, like her parents, her grandmother. They are all, we look at them through the lens of a 7-year-old, and that is something that we have, I think, all forgotten as adults. That is not something that we have a perspective on for a long time now. Ever since, probably since the time we turned 15 or something, we don't look at the world like the way these preteens do. And looking at the story through her POV was like, okay, this is what it looks like to somebody who is just learning the ways of the world. They don't know, they don't have life figured out yet. They don't know the smallest of things. And there's one particular scene that stood out to me. I don't know if it's like giving a spoiler, but there's one scene where, her mother, Kuhu's mother, is helping her get dressed, and accidentally Kuhu, kicks on her mother's tummy. And that scene was, and that the grandmother immediately says, why are you angry on her? She doesn't understand this, and she doesn't know what is it. She doesn't know how to behave. So that particular thing scene put so many things into perspective, that the child is not able to understand. She doesn't know that she should not do something like this. So
Right.
I think the entire book is like that. There are many scenes like that where we are like, okay, maybe this is how we converse and how the child is interpreting in our presence when we are talking about different things. So
Right.
that was a very sweet thing. And by the end of the book also, we have, not only does Kuhu have a different worldview, we also kind of have a better perspective on things, which is something I really liked. So well done, Sonia.
Thank
As I've
you.
already said that I was a fan of your poetry before this. Now I am a fan of your fiction writing also, and I'm looking forward to more fiction from you also now.
So sweet. I hope that happens. So let's see. Thank you so
Okay,
much. Thank you so much.
absolutely my pleasure. As I said, I have been looking forward to having you on the show for a long time. Now, Sonia, based on my reading, I had a few questions for you. Would you be kind enough to answer those?
Yes.
Let me quickly pull up the questions that I had in mind for you. And till the time we do that, I'm going to quickly say a thank you to everyone who has been sending us hearts. While I appreciated your book, so I am assuming they have also read the book and they liked it, because a lot of hearts were coming in.
Oh,
Okay, so my first question to you is, how did Kuhu's characters come to life for you? What aspects of her personality were most important for you to portray authentically?
how did Kuku's character come to life? I think Kuku is only part fiction. She was already there for me in a lot of aspects. You know how it started, I'll tell you. It was just a series of stories that I wrote, 7 stories to start with. And the first one was initiated because there's some tiny episode that happened in my daughter's life,
Okay.
and that kind of, I just turned it into a story. And so then from thereafter I thought, okay, something similar had happened with me, or something had happened with my sister, a friend's memory, and so on and so forth. So I would say Pooh is an amalgamation of a lot of episodes. That, so she was there.
Okay.
I just brought her to life in the sense that, yes, I had to now put those characters and put those, different things or different situations that these people had been into,
Hmm.
and I had to view them from the point of view of only one character.
Hmm.
Because, our reactions are different. My reaction to a situation is different, even as children. My daughter's reaction is different, and so on and so forth. So Kuhu was very much there. It's just that I had to just put everything together, and the reaction had to be like of that one character I wanted to build.
Hmm.
So yes, that ways I was. Your second question was about.
So what part of her personality were most important for you to portray authentically?
Yes, so I was just, yeah. So from there, I was coming to that because for me, it was important that who has just one voice,
Hmm.
because experiences were different that I was trying to put together or thread together. So she had to have only one voice. So I was very clear that I wanted her gentleness
Hmm.
to come across.
Okay.
I think I have sort of been a little successful there because a couple of things were there. One, two, I wanted her to be honest because children that age are very honest. They are truthful. They will tell you things as they are. They will not try to, maybe in small little matters here or there, but they're not like the smart adults that we become or they become later on. When life happens.
Hmm.
And so that was important. And along with that, I think it was very important for me to show a character with high emotional quotient, because even though she's only 7 year old, but you have children who are way maturer than their age, you know. And this is a compliment I once a compliment or something I once gave a student as well, and during one of the PTMs. So I was very clear I wanted to show this kind of a child who
Yeah.
sort of understands situations better
Hmm.
than you usually expect a 7 year old. So these were a couple of things that I wanted to, and yeah, and yes, I think that is what I thought I would put
Yeah.
together to make it more
I
authentic.
did have a follow up, but I think you have more or less answered this, which is that did you draw from real life observations or experiences while shaping Kuhu's voice and worldview? You already sort of answered that.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Because whether it was my friends or family or whoever, the episodes came from there. It's just that I sort of put them together, and I had this character in my mind who, reacts or sort of answers the situations in her own way.
So I had a follow up question that just popped up in my head. You talked about being a teacher also. So do you feel that your double experience as a mother and also as a teacher came in handy while shaping Kuhu's character?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Because in our, at least in the Indian education system, a class has not more than 40, but not less than 35
Yeah.
students. So,
Yes.
so I've had a variety. And when I was teaching, although I was, mostly into the senior classes, but there were also times, because I've been moving every 2 years, there were also times when I taught a lot of primary or TGT lot, class, from class 2, 3 to class 6 or 7. So
Hmm.
there's been a lot of observation, and definitely, I would say, definitely, like I just told you, that one of the episodes where I myself said this
The
to a
PTM
parent.
experience.
So
Yeah.
I kind of picked up from there as well.
Nice. And there is one thing though, you talked about an EQ quotient being high in Kuhu. Was there ever a time when you were tempted to show Kuhu as also a mischief maker?
I did, not really a mischief maker, but that's just one episode with the PT teacher
Yeah.
where she fails. Though it's more out of fear, But I think that's about it. That one, and the one where she, jumps into the skirt where
Yeah.
the mother made it like a well, and she feels that she's jumping into the well or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So yeah, just these two episodes, because then there's a bit of fun in everything wants to enjoy, no matter even if who's very samajhdar in those words.
Yes.
He's a child. So
Yes.
yeah, I did try to put it in there, just a tiny bit. Yeah.
Yes. And you just spoke about the PT episode. I have to compliment you on that. Till the end of the chapter, even as a reader, you are thinking that no, she's really had a fainting episode. Only towards the end, it is revealed. Yeah, ये तो नाटक कर गई लड़की. Just to get out of that PT period. I was very impressed by her, by the way. Superb acting by
Thank,
her.
thank you, thank you. Yeah. So it's been a long time. I've taken a lot of time to write these episodes, because you're never happy with the way they come out. So.
Yeah. So now again, question popped up in my head while writing that particular episode of the PT fainting episode, PT period में faint होती है लड़की. So how did you plan it out in your mind first to make sure that the audience or the reader is also confused कि इसके साथ हुआ है कुछ या नहीं?
No, because for me, it was important to show initially that, she has fainted, but that fear factor was also very important. Why
Hmm.
does she faint immediately when the teacher is right into her face?
Hmm.
The teacher is right upon her, and that's when the thud happens.
Yeah.
But she can hear all the everything that I'm saying, even the tapping of feet and the girls running around and get me a glass. This is all what who can hear,
Hmm. Okay.
while she's lying down. This is all that Kuhu can hear while she's lying down. But then, because I just already have built up, by that time, I've built up a character who's, you tend to sort of trust that character. I think by
Yes.
this time, Kuhu has already come up as a very lovable, very
Yeah.
obedient girl, I would say. Papa ke saath jao for the school interview. So she's like, okay, she doesn't want to go with Papa, but she will. Then
Hmm.
Papa says, okay, she's ready for another interview. And she's like, of course, I have to. So she's already come across as a very obedient girl. So
Yes.
that wasn't difficult to pull off actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wanted to keep the suspense at the same time. That's why I mentioned things like, get the bottle of water and this and that. That's all what Kuku
Yes.
can hear all the time. So it's from her perspective. The entire story, whatever you hear or do, it's entirely
Yes.
Kuku's thing. What she is seeing, how what she is visualizing, or what she understands from
Hmm.
whatever's happening around her.
Yeah.
Not once have I tried to, sort of show that the same situation from the mother's point of view or
Hmm.
from the father's, or not. I deliberately tried not to do that,
Hmm.
not to get anyone else into the mix. My idea was that I just wanted, everything from Kuhu's point of view.
Hmm. So how challenging was that for you as as a mother, as an adult writer yourself, to to not be tempted and go towards, adding a scene or a chapter from an adult perspective?
No, no. I mean, it wasn't difficult because in my mind I was Kuhu.
Hmm. Okay.
In my mind I had become Kuhu. In fact, I think when I had written this book actually as episodes for over a long period of time.
Yeah.
But when I actually sat down to do this, this was somewhere in I think October 24, when I
Hmm.
said, okay, I have to get down, I have to put this together. So after that, for about 4 or 5 months, in my mind, I was Kuhu all the time. My, desktop picture was Kuhu. I mean, the hand drawing of Kuhu, my everything. I was just Kuhu in my mind all the time.
Okay.
My husband used to say that you're obsessed with Kuhu. It's just
Okay.
Kuhu all the time. Oh, yeah, so it wasn't
Yeah.
that difficult.
So I think that also makes a lot of difference because you said you have been gathering these chapters and working on them for a long time. So you were already in that mental, mindset where you were thinking like the character yourself already. And then you were saying that you also had the desktop of who's sketch on your computer, which also I think is a great idea when you're working on a character to get into the mindset of the character. That's a very good idea. Thank you. I'm going to do that from now on.
Yeah, I like stories that are character driven. I mean, even when I pick books up, I'm more inclined toward books that are driven by characters.
Hmm.
So, so it was very easy. Like, what's this person doing? What's this person eating? How it is. So, yeah, so that's what I became Kuhu, I think.
Nice. Okay, that brings me to the second question I had for you, which is what was the most challenging part of writing this book? Was it the voice, was it the structure, or was it the emotional tone?
Okay. I'm okay. I have to say it was the structure because I think structure is my what would you say? Plot structure. All these things are my Waterloo for the life of me. I can't. I started out with poetry. I like words to go
Yeah.
everywhere, all over. For people to infer on their own what you are writing,
Yeah.
you know, and not to just place it for them there,
Yeah.
parrot to the idea that this is it. So definitely, but then when you're doing something like this, there has to be a structure. You can't leave things, open ended. You have to open the knots that you tie in the beginning and all those things. So it was very difficult. In fact, one or two chapters, like the one where she's, that Snow White chapter where I had to sort of, I took a very long time to work on that chapter, a very long time, because I was not able to sort of see how I would untangle it, how I would, open the knots of the whole thing, because now this has happened. Now they've said a lot of things to Kuhu, and what after this, how will I didn't want to show things like that. Okay, now they've asked her to come, that okay, Kuhu, we're going to make you Snow White or something. I didn't want that.
Hmm.
So definitely, yeah, so definitely structure was the most difficult part, because I took a long time to kind of put it all.
Yeah. Thank you for making me recall that particular chapter because I wanted to come to the part which I forgot to mention in the earlier part when I was talking about my experience of reading the book, which is I think, essence of the entire book is that you have handled every little thing with so much sensitivity, including this one, where there is a discussion about her Pahadi accent, and it is
Hmm.
handled very, very sensitively and delicately, because the way her mother handles that part, it could have gone anywhere, because who was already heartbroken about not getting the part of the main character that she wanted to play, and then she got another character's part just because, of the way she
Yeah,
talks.
right,
And
right.
I think all throughout the book, such little things are very nicely and sensitively done to also make us realize as adults how we should handle such things. So, sorry, I forgot to appreciate that in the initial part, so I had to bring it up again.
Thank you, thank you, thank you so much.
I do have a follow up question to the one that I asked already, which is that keeping this in mind, the challenges that you faced, do do you think that adults often misunderstand children's emotional experiences? And was there a particular moment in the book where you felt this is exactly how a child would see it?
I wouldn't say adults misunderstand children's experiences as such, but I would say that adults, they don't give due consideration to their emotional experiences. What they feel is that, they just slide them away. कोई बात
Hmm.
नहीं, कोई बड़ी बात नहीं है.
Hmm.
Those kind of things. For example, let's take the character of Papa,
Hmm.
you know. So when they go for the admission, when they are called the second time for the admission, for Papa, it is like, she's asking him things, or she's telling him things. She's telling him, oh, I like uniforms, or I like this or that. But he's like, okay, he's lost in his own thoughts. So what is that? That's also a way to kind of, not when you don't acknowledge the what a child is saying, so you don't acknowledge a lot of things that, or maybe when she says, I think when she says that she'd like ma to accompany her for the
Hmm.
for the school admission and not Papa. I mean, there is no explanation to her why that, ma cannot come along.
Hmm.
And
Right.
it's just taken that we've decided and this is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So yes, I wouldn't say that, they don't really understand their emotions, but I think the consideration or the consideration, or maybe, they slight their emotions, or I mean, they think that they're not experienced enough,
Yeah.
which is true also, of course, which is true also. We gain experience over years, but then just one fact to be, to have someone to listen to you makes a lot of difference.
Yeah.
Like Miss Susan,
Yeah.
like
Great.
Mrs. Susan. So why Miss Susan was also brought in like that? Because uh, just a contrast in the very same chapter with Papa's character
Yeah.
and with Mr. Creepy Glasses in the first chapter. So
Yeah. Also, I like you how you have introduced two different kinds of teachers in the same scene, where initially the first teacher is very offhanded towards Kuhu, and that
right.
second teacher is very accepting and sweet and appreciates her. So yeah, the initial experience with the first interview and then the second experience also, he gets to meet two different types of teachers.
Yes, it's one world. We have all kinds of people. So
Exactly.
you have to you come across everyone, and that's how the world is introduced to children. So one by one,
Yeah.
people walk into your life. That's how you get to know.
On that note, I'm going to quickly read out a few passages from the book so that people understand what the book is that we are talking so much about. And quickly, the cover again. This is the cover of the book. And there are these illustrations in between all the chapters, which I really like. And there are illustrations at the beginning of each chapter also.
Yes, these are the illustrations have been done by Anisha Koti Baskal, and the cover is by Basma. The cover
Yeah.
artist is different.
And also like the fact that in at the end of the book, it's not just about the author. Both the cover designer and the illustrator have also been given a space to
Yeah.
introduce themselves. I really like that.
Yes, that's all bare bones and I mean, that is all her vision.
Quickly, just a few more illustrations I'm going to show everyone before I read out, because they are very, very nicely done, and I love the detailing and all. My My favorites ones, I think, would be those where they are eating food as a family. I'm not able to
Or
find.
the samosa and all in the last, yeah.
So these are the few
The
illustrations.
pot, yeah. The hospital visit.
Yes. Okay. I'm going to read out from this first chapter now. It's called Chapter 1, The Interview. Catch me if you can, whose long shadow whispered to her. She eyed it for a while, then looked away. It wasn't a day to fool around. In fact, it was a rather serious day. She was off to the big school to answer some questions. Capitals, opposites, multiplication tables, and the whole shebang. Ma called it an interview. Kuhu had been studying for it for as long as she could remember. Ma held Kuhu's soft and spongy hand, leading her past tiny shops and old houses. Come on, we mustn't be late, she said. Can you see the red roof against the blue sky? That's where we have to go. I also like that the red and blue have been put in bold. It's like
Yeah.
Ma always turned into a human with megaphone when she wanted Kuhu to remember something. Red roof, blue sky. The 7-year-old repeated. Whenever the sky above the hills of Rubalpur turned blue and the sun rode merrily across it, spring became as hot as summer. Kuhu felt a bit too snug in her dungarees and striped sweater that matched her rosy cheeks. Her short hair was soaking wet inside a black woolen cap. Ma's cheeks too had turned red. Don't forget to greet the teachers, Kuhu, she said, puffing and panting like a steam engine. Then she paused and gazed at her daughter with soft eyes. Don't worry, you'll be fine. Kuhu nodded, even though she had her doubts. Ma and Papa had always told her not to talk to strangers. Now they were ready to bend their own rules, telling her to go talk to strangers and even answer their questions. She wished she had been born in the beginning of the world. Ammaji, her grandmother, had once told her, in the beginning of the world, there were no schools or books. How wonderful was that? We're going to stop here. We don't want to give away too much also.
Yeah.
And I just want to show you that how much I have underlined here. I particularly like this bit where she's wondering. Ma and Papa had always told her not to talk to strangers. Now they want me to talk to them and
Doctor.
answer their questions.
Yeah. So much confusion in her mind.
Yes. And I've also underlined one more line here. I'm just going to read that one out. Ma thought a 7-year-old should know these concepts, know them already or learn them at school. Who had asked? Ma had only laughed in response the way elders do when they don't want to answer. I've underlined that also. See?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I mean,
exactly how
that
smart
of course,
who is. Yeah.
these are ways to kind of just put away questions that, we like, they will not understand.
Yeah, exactly.
Or
And
we think, she's being so clever. Oh, look at her, what is she saying, and all of that. So,
yeah, and through the first 2, 3 pages only, we know how insightful this particular child is because she's observing everything. She may not be vocalizing it, but she's observing everything and she's thinking about it in her own way and trying to understand
yeah.
it, which is what I really liked. It's good intro to whose character.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
And that brings me to the end of the questions I had for you. You have also read my book. Now the floor is
Yeah.
yours.
Yes. Yes. So, yeah, Manali, first of all, because I read it in Kindle version, I'd love for you to show everyone the
Yes,
cover
yes,
of your book.
yes, exactly what I'm doing. For those of you who are waiting, you can also see it in the background, the pink one.
Yeah, but then there are so many books. Manali has written 10 books.
Yes, so this is the one that Sonia has read. My jeans fit well and the ice cream didn't melt. Yes, please go on.
So, when I saw the book cover, I knew, I mean, this is you. When I
Yes,
saw the book cover, I had not read the book, but I mean, of course, the cover was around and I could see the book. There were a lot of social media posts and other things, and even blog chat and all. Because I'm part of the community, so I could see. So I could see this is Manali there, and at first I felt a little this thing because unabashedly you've agreed that this is you,
yes,
right? Right. But what is, interesting is I mean, this is also my first question. What I want to ask is that, A, it's very difficult to bear yourself in front of the world, and especially your quirkiness. And then, of course, to laugh at yourself, because that's also what you're doing in the book. And most of us take life too seriously, but you're laughing at yourself in that way. So that's my first question: how did you convince yourself, that you were okay to share this side of yourself with everyone in the form of a book, and so openly?
I think it has been a process also for me as well. When the concept of the book came to me and I, decided that, this is good enough to be converted into a book, I was at a different age and stage in my life. Maybe at that time I was just, building up the courage to be as, unhinged as I wanted to be in the book. But in the making of this book, and by the time I, finally took up the next stage of the book to make it, a draft, so as to say, the final draft, 4 5 years have passed along, and in that much time, I think I had become a different person myself, and I had come to accept myself more openly. I had, embraced the concept of self love a lot more than I had in 2020 when the idea of the book came to me. So I think the
Okay.
journey of myself as a person has been a lot, incremental in the final version of the book, which has come out, where I have, not held myself back at all. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, I have grown enough as a person. I have many books already out. I don't fear the judgment of people anymore. And, I have enough confidence in myself that even if some people are offended or don't like it, I wouldn't be affected as much. So that growth journey, I think, was necessary for me, and I'm glad I took that much time to bring the book out. I'm glad I didn't bring out the book in 2020 itself, or because I would definitely have held myself back, and I think that would have taken away from the essence of the book that I had initially thought of.
I think it's very inspiring, this kind of courage, because to lay bare yourself, it's very difficult. I'm the kind of person who's even conscious of becoming, though I do it more often now. Earlier, I never used to. I was never seen or anything on camera. Now, of course, I've got a YouTube channel, so I kind of, I'm more visible. But it takes
Yeah,
a rare kind of
yeah.
courage. But during, while you were answering this, you said when the concept of the book came to me, I mean, I just thought about it. How did it come to you, this whole idea? Did you, were you inspired by something? Did you watch something, or what was it?
No, so the in 2020, by the time the idea of this book came to me, I had already put out books in different genres. Like I had a poetry book out, I had a collection of short stories out, and I already also had a novel out. I also had a
Right.
rom-com out by then.
Okay.
And when my first book came out, at that time itself, I had thought that, I don't want to stick to one genre. I want to be a multi-genre author because I
Okay.
know I trust my creativity that much that I can dabble in multiple genres.
Okay.
So when the novel came out, I had thought that, now the only genre left is non-fiction. Let's focus on that. And then we will, cover the whole circle again. Now we have done
Okay.
all genres, we'll go back to poetry again, then we'll do short
Wow.
stories, then we'll come back to non-fiction again. That was the idea. And at that time, uh, on social media, I used to put out posts with the hashtag silly things that make me happy.
Okay.
And yeah, and I used to put these out once a week or bi-weekly, and these posts were very well received. And it was a pleasant, very, very pleasant surprise for me because these were very
Okay.
random thoughts and, epiphanies that I had, and I used to put out very, like in an unfiltered manner on social media. And though they were very well received. I know for a fact that they were so well received that in my absence, people used to talk about it in rooms where I was not there. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, yeah, they used to discuss it amongst themselves and ask each other, "आज मनाली ने क्या डाला तुमने देखा क्या?" So that was the kind of popularity those social media posts had gained, and that kind of was the initial, inspiration or motivation for me that hashtag silly things that make me happy can be something that can be converted into a book. Of course, at that time they were only text. I used to put them up on Instagram as something, in a creative form where only the text was appearing. Or if I was putting it up on Facebook, they were just statuses, only text. like, today I'm feeling this and
Okay.
this happened with me.
Okay.
So,
So from
yeah,
hashtag silly things that make me happy to my ice cream, I mean, how did this title shift happen? I mean, naturally you would, because that hashtag had become so popular, so you would naturally want to continue with that. But
yeah.
then the shift in the
Yes.
title.
So initially, yes, that was the thought that I would name the book also that silly things that make me happy. At least, if not the main title, that would be the subtitle. That's what I had
Right.
in mind. But during those, when I started compiling those, when the idea came to me and I started compiling them in a Word document, as soon as I was putting them out on social media or whenever before something stuck in my head and I put it in the Word document first and then later put it on social media. Sometimes it was a mix of both. So at that time, that was the thought that silly things that make me happy would be the book
Right.
title.
Right.
But then something happened around my social media. I had a huge following back then. I had about 13K followers on Instagram, and I lost that account, and I
Oh.
immediately started another account, and I lost that also within 3 or 4 months. So that was kind of a downfall for me as a creator, and I kind of lost the confidence and motivation to continue with this content.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Yeah.
stopped putting those posts on social media completely, and I also gave up on the idea of the book because
Oh.
losing one account after another, I just had for a bit there for a month or two, I had lost the will to create content at all. So yeah, I gave up on that, on the idea of the book completely, and I started focusing on poetry again because I knew that was a strong point for me, and that was something that will help me bring momentum to start creating content again. So I
Yeah.
focused on the poetry, and then I had completely, this was lying in my drafts folder. Some about
That's why
50.
this
Yeah,
long
yeah.
gap.
Yeah, that's why, and about 50 or so nuggets I had compiled in that Word document and it was completely forgotten.
Right.
And then again, on this show itself, Suchita, right? Suchita from Block
Yeah.
Chatter.
Right.
She came as a guest on my show, and during the rapid
Okay.
fire on that episode, she asked me a question. Is
Oh.
there a particular book idea that you regret giving up on, or you want to go back to? And immediately, I hadn't thought about this book for a while, and immediately off the top of my head, I my response was yes. There is one particular book where I am thinking about everyday moments that bring us joy. And post that episode, we had the Block Chatter A to Z coming up in a few months. So I thought, okay, let me go back to the Word document. Maybe I can, convert this into a Block Chatter A to Z series and see the response. Maybe that will bring the confidence back and I can, rethink about converting it into a book after the challenge.
Okay.
So during that particular year's A to Z challenge, I took this up and I gave up on that name, silly things that make me happy. And that's how, I came up with an
That's how.
alternate name. Yeah, because I wanted to give it a fresh start. I wanted to forget all that happened around it in the initial
Oh.
stage. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So I want to talk about another character. There are basically a few characters in your book, and the other character, prominent character, is that of the husband, your husband.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'd like to say that, the character balances the quirkiness of the main character is balanced by the composure of the second main character, I would say. So, it just came to me while I was reading it that, of course, you put it in a comic form, but with illustrations and with images and everything. But it just came to me that what if it was to be written as an entire rom com? Did Has anyone told you this, or have you considered it yourself?
Yes, because the first page of all my books have been dedicated to my husband, which has a separate fan base now because a lot of people who have read my book know that my husband is always on the dedication page and I pull his leg for something or the other, mostly for
Okay.
not reading my books. So, yes,
Yeah, that also you mentioned. Yes.
yes. So, yes, a lot of readers have, kind of come back to me. And in fact, my debut novel, the rom com, a lot of people thought that it's about my husband and me,
Hmm.
but it's not. I do
Okay.
have a thought in my mind that I will someday, convert our love story into a book or maybe a short story or a novella. I do want to do that because I know there are a lot of people who want to know it.
Want to know it. So, okay, so that's like one day you have that thought, but what are you planning next right now?
So now that I have covered all the genres, I want to go back to poetry, and that is
Okay.
consciously why in this year's A to Z I am doing a poetry theme. So
Okay.
yes, that is in the works, but there is already other genre that I have completed. So I want to see. I have not yet decided which I want to put out first as a
Okay.
book. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. That's in the pipelines. Okay. Great. So, Manali, I think I would now go on to reading a little part from your book.
Sure, sure.
Yes. And so I have not, like, unlike you, I have chosen something from the middle of it, where I've chosen the alphabet F and whatever comes with F.
Okay.
So I'm going to read from there, and I'd love for you to supplement it with,
Yeah, I can
your
show everyone. Just
there.
let's
So
say me.
that's how
Yes.
it starts. That's how the book looks. Okay. So here, the first part is where there's this fully bloomed flowers after a long winter. And that's Manali standing in a beautiful. Tell me, are these images from, your real pictures that you've converted, or
Yes, most of
okay,
them are, yes.
all
So
of them?
this is taken from a photograph of me standing in a tulip field where I'm wearing a similar outfit. Yes.
Yeah, so yeah, because otherwise, there's a lot of every page has an image to think so much of everything takes a lot of this thing. So she says that why doesn't such beauty exist throughout the year? She's talking about the tulip garden, and then she says, oh well, if not this, then I would have something else besides the weather to complain about, or maybe nothing to complain about. Ah, is that even possible? So that's the Manali quirk that we have here. Tulips, one smile. So that's the thing I'm talking about, when you can, sort of see the chinks in your own armor. So, yeah,
Yeah.
which you've done beautifully here.
Thank you.
So the next one is when you finding a bookish friend, on a train. The best ones are those that strike up a conversation simply by seeing me reading something and going, "Hey, that's my favorite book." And there are these two people having a conversation. So I'm at the point where I'm wondering, when does Eleanor Oliphant get fine? And then the other one says, I loved that one. It made me laugh, cry, and then question whether I've been completely fine my whole life. Oh my God. 20 and then there is a subline which I really liked. I'm 20 seconds away from sharing my OTP if they ask for it. So is that's what happens in real life also, if you find
Yes,
someone
yes,
who
yes. Very much so. Yes. I have to be held back on being too trusty.
the next aspect is about forgiveness, whether, forgiving someone or being forgiven. And she says, I'm going to let this go. I'm going to forgive this person for my own peace of mind. And then she says, but if they pull something like that again, I'm writing a strongly worded, passive aggressive poem about everything they've done so far. This really, I remember reading this, and I was chuckling and laughing, and I was like, okay, writing it, that's a writer's tool, the writer's hatyar, as they say.
Yes.
So she's finding content, creation ideas, and motivation anywhere and everywhere. We'll take okay, the next one is flashbacks of happy moments only, of course. And there, sitting in a garden, she's thinking something that we really think this I could really relate to. How was I so happy with so little sleep, no money, and absolutely zero clue what I was doing? And to think that was all just a few years ago. My God, that's such a cycle of life, that you look back and you say, oh God, I was so happy and I barely had anything.
Yes.
And now, despite so much, and we're always wanting more and we're never satisfied. And there's a cycle of life. I don't know, life does that to us, maybe. And I will just, skip the next movie one. I
Hmm.
want to move to the next one, which
Hmm.
is flaunting without feeling like a show, which I think which really made me laugh. Be it my home, my books, my clothes. So unapologetic Manali, or even a successfully cooked dish. So unapologetic. My God, I don't care if I sound too proud or vain. I worked hard to buy a house of my own. There's literally been blood and sweat, some of which might not have been my own. This was also a little funny, but that's not important here. So home tours? No, she's not giving home tours. She's just proving her self-worth.
Yes. Thank you so much for reading this one out. It's been a while I had, I revisited some of these. And I'm
Yeah.
also thinking, okay, yes, Manali, you have done a good job.
No, I didn't. In fact, one of them is like really, it's a little away, but which I really liked was, those, the popping the,
Popcorns, kernels,
popping the bubble wraps,
bubble wraps, yes.
the bubble wraps. That also I really liked. These are little things that, because when I was reading it, I was like, okay, this happens, this happens. So there was a lot of relatability factor in the book.
Very
So
happy to hear that.
yeah,
Thank you
so
so much for reading
great
it.
there, and of course, made me smile throughout.
And I think that brings us to the end of the questions that we had for each other for the writing related part. Now we come to the more fun part, which is the rapid fire round. Are you ready for that, Sonia? How we'll
Also,
take this is one question I will ask and one question you ask. All right?
okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay. My first question to you is, what confuses Kuhu the most about grown-ups?
That they always say something, but they start setting things up according to their own will. When they want, at one particular moment, they'll probably be saying that this is okay, but the very next moment they will turn against it and they will give you a reason for why it's. They find a loophole and say no, it's not okay. So yeah, I guess that's what
I think
confuses
I
them.
just read out one of those things also. She just
Yes,
pointed out that, till now you've been telling me not to talk to strangers and now you want me to talk
absolutely.
to a room full of them. Yeah.
Right, right. I have the next one. I'll take the next one. If you were to write a sequel to Fitmelt, that's, by the way, how did this name come? The short form Fitmelt. Sorry, I'm just going a little.
Yes. So for all of my books, I have had acronyms like this so that it becomes easier for
Oh,
me to refer to it on social media and to create
okay.
highlights on Instagram if I want to. I don't have to use the entire
Oh,
title
very
of the book.
interesting. Because
And
my thing is also who learns to deal with life. So yeah,
yeah.
that's very interesting.
So, and
Okay.
particularly for this book, it has a very wordy title. I didn't want to refer to
Yeah.
it as the whole book every time
Right.
I talked about it.
Right.
So, Fitmelt was not the first one that came to my mind. I
Hmm.
also have to give a quick shout out to my reader friends who are like a close knit circle of people that I trust when I'm, thinking about all
Wonderful.
of these things in the last stages of book publishing. Sukyana,
Wonderful.
Agnieszri, if you are here, Sukyana, Majid, and Siddhant, they were always there during these
Oh,
stages.
wonderful.
And I was discussing what could be the acronym for this particular book. And the initial one, I have to tell you, we were very close to finalizing Jimmy or Jim, which
Okay.
is Jean's ice cream melt or Jean's,
Oh,
yeah. And
okay.
Sukarna was completely against it. She was like, no, this is not making sense at all.
Yeah, because fit melt is like, you really fit and meld. So,
Yeah.
yeah, this was something that came to my mind. I thought I would ask about this.
So
So,
she
okay,
was
but
the one who pointed out. I gave them to Jimmy was like completely crossed out by all three of them.
right,
And I gave them few more options that these could be the one. And so Kana was the one who said Fitmelt would be very SEO friendly, Manali, use it because it would attract the right kind of people also if you are using it on social media. Because
right,
fitness is also a very good thing to
yes,
tap
yes,
in. If you're
yes,
using that particular word fit everywhere on your social media, it will be good for
right.
your SEO. So that's how we
Yeah,
stabilize it.
I know. Yeah. I really liked it. This thing, and it's given me also an idea, but not now, maybe next time. But my question actually is that if you were to write a sequel to Fitment, what would you do differently? Something that's in your mind that I'd like to do this differently.
Actually, an idea popped up in my head for a sequel to this during one of these the episodes during this season also because somebody asked me, a guest, I don't recall who it was, because they
Mhm.
asked me that you have written about happy moments in this book. Have you ever thought about writing about sad moments or the moments that
Yeah,
made you feel some kind of grief or turned your mood upside down? not in a good way. So I was like, yeah, that's a good idea. I can also use those kind of things. So I have not used any sad moment in this book, and I was like, okay, maybe this is something I should try for the next one, where I'm talking about sad moments and turning
Yeah.
that into a humorous thing.
Interesting. Yeah, but that is, I mean, that will be such a contrast to this book, you know?
Yeah,
Uh,
because no,
because,
but I use humor as a defense mechanism in both
oh, lovely.
situations. So
Yeah.
even that one will be sassy, but that will be around sad moments.
It'll be interesting to see how you bring it out. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
my next question to you is, if Kuhu, I really like framing this question because I was constantly
Okay.
thinking about, how your daughter might have been an inspiration for Kuhu's character. So this is the question. If Kuhu could be friends with your daughter, what's the one thing that you would like your daughter to learn from Kuhu, and the one thing that you would be worried or warn your daughter about picking up from her, and why?
Okay. I think now that you also mentioned it, and I also said actually, who's it's not if my daughter became a friend, I think who's the ones sort of got a lot of things from my daughter, like you said. But okay, so one thing that I think Kuhu is a very strong uh, girl. Ultimately, you know, initially, like even when she enters the interview room, she misses out on the things that happen early on. But oh my God, how she bounces back.
Yeah.
So, and not just in one situation, in a lot of situations, that presence of mind, that sort of bouncing back. So I think she's overall, or even with the high neck. In fact, I would like to say, I mean, those are rapid fire questions, but I'd really like to say that the high neck is very symbolic in this book. Because the high neck is not about a child struggling with the high neck. The high neck is also about that feeling of, you know, being lonely, that
Hmm.
loneliness, because there is no one who she can right now, you know, trust with it. But then, I mean, the whole chapter, she's only thinking about the high neck.
Hmm.
That entire chapter, and it was a little difficult for me too, because to, you know, just have that one thought and to navigate it through, and it could become very boring. I don't know if it is still for some readers,
Not.
but still.
Don't worry, it's not.
But yeah, but with the high neck, that point. But even then, by the end of it, you know, she's sort of come around to it, and she's like, you know, I have to do it anyway. So she's waiting for mommy. It's another thing that the mommy comes in. She's so compassionate, and she's such a, you know, lovely person that she's able to make out, you know, that loneliness, that sort of this distance that from her mother. The Heineck is symbolic of all that. So yeah, so I think strength, being strong, being taking, you know,
Hmm.
taking things as they come, and ready to face them is probably what I would. And in fact, the other question that you asked me, it's not just what I would not want my daughter, but any child. I think I wouldn't want any child to bottle up their emotions. Who does that a lot of times?
Hmm.
Even the last outburst that happens is after a long period of time. Because I think children who bottle up their emotions, you know, later on grow up to be difficult in very many ways. If you do not learn to share your emotions, it becomes very, very difficult.
Hmm.
So yeah, so I think that's one thing that I wouldn't really want.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. You handled that question very well. I didn't expect you to come up with the negative bit about who so well.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay,
Okay.
thank
Your
you.
turn.
So yeah, my question is like, first I asked you, what would you do differently? What is it about Fitmill that you wouldn't want to change at all?
I think the unhinged version of myself that if I ever put out a sequel, I want that to become even sassier if that's possible. I don't want to
Hmm.
hold myself back.
Oh, lovely. Even sassier if possible.
Yeah.
We would love to see how that comes out. And maybe with all the years adding up, that is actually going to be sassier.
Yeah. Okay.
Lovely.
The next question that I have for you is a fill in the gaps question. I have three questions here. So the first fill in the gap is, one small thing that instantly makes Kuhu happy is dash.
A small thing, I think drawing. I think that's where she
Yeah.
kind of, you know, uh, puts herself out and, you know, shares her emotions and everything. So I think it's drawing.
Okay. Next one. When Kuhu feels confused, she usually dash.
Oh, I think she looks for her mother. Looks for
Yeah.
her.
That I saw. Yeah. She looks for her mother for most
Yes,
answers. Yeah.
every small little thing, you know, she searches for her mom.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay, last one. The proudest I did it moment for Kuhu would be dash.
Proudest I did it moment.
Hmm.
Okay, and there are two actually. I could say it's, the play, the Snow White, the
Hmm.
play that, she finally participates in. But one bigger moment than that would be when she babysits her sister.
Hmm.
That's the thing where, because she gets this feeling of I am the elder sister.
Yes.
So, so I
Yeah.
think it would be
Yeah.
that, definitely. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Nice. Thank your turn.
Okay. So I think I've already asked you this, but still, I mean, and we know throughout this that the character, the book is about you. But still, I mean, even when, because even like I told you about Kuhu, that even though she's, I'm inspired from real life people, but then you have to add. So, are there things that you made up in this, or is it completely 100% it's Manali? Or are
Uh,
there situations and things that you made up as well?
the nuggets are 100% something that happened with me. The
Okay.
illustration, some of them are made up because they didn't exactly happen as per the nuggets, the situations. I
Right.
thought back to the moments when I had those epiphanies, as I like to call them, but they didn't exactly happen as I have mentioned in the illustration. So those
Okay.
are some of those are made up.
So you can say that 95% of pit melt is Manali.
Yes, yes, definitely. Yes.
Okay.
For instance, there is one where I'm thinking about a gift that I have received, and where I'm talking about one more pen, and I can
Yes,
open my own
yes,
stationery.
yes,
that
yes,
that hasn't
yes.
really happened. So,
Okay,
in the manner
okay,
that I have shown in the illustration, it's not happened that way.
okay, okay, yeah, but okay, so you have a couple of those, but mostly it's you.
Yes, yes.
Okay,
Okay. My next question to you is: now, these last two questions in the rapid fire are those questions where I have meshed up our two books, where Fit
okay,
Melt and Kuhu's worlds are coming together. So, my first question
right,
here is: Kuhu begins to understand something that she didn't notice before. What kind of Fit Melt moment triggers that awareness?
okay. Uh, okay, maybe I can say that where she gets an apology from Amandeep,
Hmm.
not an apology, I would say, where she gets when Amandeep praises her actually. But I think the fitment moment is that it's an unexpected praise. So you
Yes.
have that praise where you have the unexpected apologies, when they
Yes.
line up. So I think I would equate that with that
Yeah.
unexpected praise from Amandeep, and that probably makes Kuhu realize that all is well in the end.
Yeah.
So that's how the unexpected apology also makes
Yes.
one
Yes.
feel.
Yeah. That's actually a very perfect Fit Melt moment. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Your turn.
Yeah. Okay. So fitment is it's a different genre altogether and a different kind of book. So when you were talking, you said that you wanted to put out those quirky moments, but there are different ways of putting that out. This kind of a book. What inspired you to choose this kind of comic?
So when I started compiling the
Was
nuggets,
there a book? Was there a book that you read and you said, okay, I
no,
want to do this kind of book?
no,
No.
there wasn't any particular book. But yes, as a child, I have grown up reading Archie's and Panchtantra, where the illustrations made up most of the charm in the books. So
Okay.
that I think was
Oh,
at the back of my mind. I think subconsciously that was the inspiration. Consciously, I don't
okay.
think there was any other inspiration. But yes,
Mm.
when I started compiling the nuggets back in 2020, 21, when I had first thought of the book, uh, I did realize while going through the drafts and the nuggets in the Word document that these would need to have some visual context. These
Okay.
can't work only as text form. People would
Right.
have to people would have to
Yeah.
be put in a situation where this particular moment is happening in my life to understand why this particular epiphany happened to me. So
Right.
that was always the idea that an illustration has to be followed with the text to explain the situation. But I
How
didn't
much
want to
time did this
overdo.
take? How much
Uh,
time
the
did this take? The whole thing to put together? Yeah,
Uh,
the last.
the illustrations, I think about 2 to 3 months. Yeah, because I have,
Ah,
as I have mentioned in the disclaimer, I have created the
yes,
illustrations also myself through prompt engineering on
right.
Gemini. So yeah, but
No,
there
but
was a
despite
step by
that,
step
I mean,
process.
because
Yeah.
there are so many. So that's why
Yeah.
I was asking you.
Yeah,
It
about two
must
to
have
three
been
months.
okay. I
Yeah.
don't have this question just came to me.
Okay, my last question to you in the rapid fire now is, since Kuhu is an artist, you have already mentioned that she loves drawing. So since Kuhu is an artist, when she feels a strong emotion but can't fully explain it, how does she express it through a Fitmelt kind of illustration?
Okay, maybe when she can't. What kind of illustration would she make?
Yeah.
I
I
know
mean, she's not
she'll
able
probably
to verbally speak, so she'll make an illustration of it.
she'll probably make bubble wraps and she'll make bursted bubble wraps.
Yeah, true. Yeah, she seems like that kind of a, personality who would vent out the frustration through.
Yeah. So I think yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. So my last question to you is actually my question was that how did the title of Fit Melt come to you? So which I've already spoken about, but maybe just otherwise, has your husband seen his illustrations?
Oh, yeah, he has. Because the book was initially, as I mentioned, it was part of the Block Chatter A to Z challenge last year. And while I was undertaking the challenge, also I shared some of these illustrations on social media. So he knows that he is there. And he is already
Okay.
aware that, the
Okay. So
dedication
what
page
was
is
his
always about
reaction?
this.
Actually, that was my question. So what was his
It's
reaction?
always nonchalant.
Composed. Okay, that comes through in the story as well. That's how he comes through in the book as well. So, is this your most, has this turned out to be your most popular book, maybe?
Yes, I surprisingly, yes, I did not expect the book to do so well and to be received so well, and I'm just glad,
Okay.
that it's doing. Whoever is reading has connected it with it to such a level I didn't expect it. So yeah, very grateful, very happy.
Thank you so much, Manali. Thank you so much.
And I think that brings us to the last bit of the episode where we'll be playing a little game, the most fun part. We have had fun in the
Okay.
rapid fire, but this will be more fun. And this
Okay.
is the part, Sonia, where we'll be playing a bingo game called the Fit Melt Bingo. And these
Okay.
are all a bunch of questions that I will ask you related to the nuggets that you have read from Fitment. You just have to answer in yes or no. Okay? Whether you have experienced this or done this lately or no. Those kind of
Okay.
questions. Okay. First one. Witnessed a perfect sunset in the last 7 days.
7 days.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, lovely. Next one. Own a pair of jeans that fits just right.
No, never.
Oh, oh my God. Oh, that's, I understand the pain.
Never, never. Always unhappy.
To try because Levi jeans always fits well. So yeah, I'm suggesting a brand that might work out for you because it has always worked out for me.
Okay. Great.
Okay, next one.
Thank
Ate
you.
ice cream before it melted.
Yeah,
Yeah,
always.
nice.
Yes.
Okay, next one. Nailed a witty comeback at the right time.
Yes, I think I'm pretty witty. I think many
Nice,
times.
nice, nice. Next one. Went on a peaceful walk alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yes. Yes. I'm a walker. I walk a lot.
Nice. I am also. I
I've
love
done
walking.
long walks alone. So
Yes.
yes.
Next one. Got lost in a great book.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
This is generally a trick question for most of the guests because this is like a nudge to the guest who's playing this game with me for them to mention my book. Yes, Manali, I got lost in your book.
Yes. 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 Oh, it's very sweet. Smart. I like it, Manali.
Okay, next one. Took a shower without adjusting the knobs in the past week.
No.
No,
No.
yeah, I can
I'm very
understand.
wary of. I'm very wary of. And anyway, it's very hot and sultry in Kolkata.
Yeah,
So, it's just a cold shower.
yeah. Okay, next one. Took up a new hobby or did something creative.
Took up a new hobby or did something creative. Um, no, I've taken up work instead. I mean, I don't have much time nowadays. So,
Understandable. Next one. Heard a song you forgot you loved.
yes, many times, many times.
Lovely. Next one. Found an old note or photo.
Old photos, yes. Not,
Okay, next one. Now, this one I have given a longer timeline for the people in India because I know how difficult this particular feat is. Spotted a rainbow in the past year.
um,
No, not even in the year. Yeah, I can understand. Yes, it's very difficult to spot one in India.
no, not, yeah.
Yeah. Next one. Had a random idea that sparked joy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
Nice. Next one. Took yourself on a date or day out.
Not in the past 1 year you want to ask me.
No, no. In the recent past, 1 month or 3 to 4 weeks.
No, not alone, not alone.
Okay. Next one. Smelled something baking.
Yeah,
I saw the spark in your eye. Like immediately go.
yeah.
Next one. Had a good hair day in the past 2 weeks.
A good headache. Every
Yeah.
time you wash your hair.
Yeah. Actually, that's true. Yeah. Every time we wash our hair, it's a good hair day. Yes. Next one. Popped a bubble wrap.
No.
No. No. Oh, we need to
And
order
that's
more.
why I mentioned it because I found it very interesting, that
Yeah.
thing in the book. So
I
that's
think
why
we
I
need
mentioned
to order stuff online more. Then that's when we will get bubble wrap stuff. Next one. Ate your comfort food.
it. Yeah. Recently,
Okay.
I think last week.
Oh, nice. Next one. Gazed at the moon in silence.
Sorry?
Gazed at the moon in silence. Okay.
Right outside my window.
Nice. Nice. Next one. Bought something that made you giddy. No. Okay. And the last one. Reconnected with an old friend.
Yeah, yeah. In
Nice.
fact, just I think in just 2 days. So
Oh,
I
wow.
saw her status and she had been offline for a long time. I
Oh,
saw her status and I was like, wow, so happy to see her.
nice. Oh, very recent. And you have done quite well. According to me, this is the ideal way to lead life. So you have done very well. Congratulations. You are living life ideally as per Manali standards and fit male standards.
Thank you so much, Manali. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed this bingo. I was not,
So happy to
I was
hear that.
slightly scared what kind of questions you were going to ask, but they were fun. It was so much fun. All the questions. Thank you so
And yeah, I think that brings us to the end of today's episode. Whoever was here, we didn't have any questions, but a quick thank you to everyone who was with us here all throughout the episode. And once again, thank you, Sonia, for being here. Before I let you go, I asked this question to all my guests, especially those guests that I admire as writers and I had a lot of fun with. So I have to ask you, when are you coming up with the next book so I can have you again?
much. Oh, I'm a very on the spur writer, Manali. So I don't know. I'm not a planner. I have this thing, and though I have a couple of things going on, I do have a couple of drafts also. But I really don't know. It takes me a long, long time to turn any idea into something which is more tangible. I hope I can do it sooner this time. But very difficult to say. But yes, I will. I don't want to end on one book. I don't want to end on one book.
Please don't, because you write very well, and I would love to see. I think all the people who have read this book and have read your blogs, they would love to see more of your writing turned into books. So please bring out a new book soon and continue writing books.
Thank you so much, Manali. I will be looking forward to your sequel and whatever you're deciding on this, and which you say is going to be sassier than this one. So
Hopefully
definitely, I
soon.
will be
Hopefully
looking
soon.
forward
If
to
not Fit
it.
Melt, if not the sequence of Fit
Of
Melt,
course, now there's a poetry thing, so which
yeah,
again would
yeah,
interest me a
yeah,
lot.
that's what.
So
If not Fit, the sequel to Fit Melt, I will definitely be bringing out a book soon. So hopefully,
thank
uh,
you so much for everything. Thank you so much for this session, and thank you to everyone who joined today. Thank you
yes,
so much.
and this episode will be available on my Instagram and YouTube channel. So do check it out if you have missed anything in during the course of the conversation. You can catch us again, having a lot of fun during the entire episode. So once again, Sonia, thank you for being here and have a great weekend. Bye.
Pleasure. Good